So Super Mario 64 is a game that, as I mentioned in a previous video, has been a huge part of my life ever since it first came out. I was lucky enough to be alive when video games made the 2D to 3D transition on console. But until the game had been re-released like a ton of times recently on the Switch, I think there are lots of young people that never saw Super Mario 64. Everyone's familiar with Mario in some sense, but Super Mario 64 is a really old game, and games at the beginning of the 3D transition don't always hold up super well. But the speedrunning scene has kept Super Mario 64 alive for some time because Super Mario 64 is a game that people love to speedrun. It's a huge community of speedrunners compared to a lot of other games. And one of the things that I found most interesting is that, like, the top speedrunners, I don't even think they were alive when Super Mario 64 came out in 1996. I'm looking at these guys and I'm loving their streams. And I'm like, dude, you picked up this game. You probably didn't originally play it when it came out because you were just too young. Which is to say that Super Mario 64 is not a game that is only to be played by old people like me. Super Mario 64 can be enjoyed by younger people. It is a heck of fun time to speedrun. So I figured I would go ahead and throw my knowledge of Super Mario 64, my experience with Super Mario 64, and my research with Super Mario 64 speedrunning into a video to try to explain a little bit about speedrunning, a little bit about the speedrun that I'm doing. That way, if you're watching any of the series or any of the live streams where I'm going to be speedrunning this series, you can understand what I'm trying to do and the reasons for what I'm trying to do, if that makes any sense. So unlike the 2D platformers that came before it, Super Mario 64 obviously is a 3D game, and the game is based around the concept that you are collecting stars to try to fight Bowser so you can free Princess Peach. You start the game outside the castle with a message from Princess Peach telling you to come to the castle. Then Lakitu tells you when you show up at the castle that things have gone horribly wrong. You go inside the castle, Bowser tells you something went wrong, and all the doors are locked with these stars, and you have to collect stars to unlock doors to eventually let you unlock the Bowser rooms, which gives you keys to unlock even more doors so you can get more stars. It's a cycle until you defeat Bowser for the third time. There's 3 Bowser fights in Super Mario 64. Now, this game in total contains 120 different stars. For the majority of your stars that you're going to be collecting, you go into these rooms that are usually locked by requiring you to have a certain number of stars to get inside. You go inside the door, there's usually a magical picture. You jump inside the picture and you go to the magical world of whatever is contained therein. Each of the special worlds contains 6 regular stars, as well as a star where you can collect 100 coins in each of the main levels, as well as a special star where you collect 100 coins within each of the levels to get a special 7th star in each of those regular worlds. There's also special stars hidden throughout the castle that you can collect in various ways for a total of 120 stars in this game. There are speedruns for 120 stars. These speedruns are well over an hour. The 120 star speedruns are between 1 and 2 hours, and they are an insane, crazy, grueling task of collecting 120 stars as fast as possible. It's a crazy, wild, fun experience to watch. But getting into speedrunning with 120 star strat is just, it's a lot. So what are other ways that people try to beat this game quickly? Well, first of all, there's the 70 star speedrun. The game can be completed officially with 70 stars. You know how every video game has, well, I can get to the credits by doing this, but then I can get the platinum trophy by doing all of the achievements? Well, this game obviously came out before achievements were available, so you can beat the game with 70 stars legitimately. That's how many stars you need to beat all of the Bowsers without doing anything weird. And since there's 120 stars in the game, it's pretty easy to find a way to get 70 stars. There is a category of speedrunning for 70 stars, where you just have to get 70 stars as fast as possible, then beat the last boss. Something interesting about that category is because since there is 120 stars in the game total, choosing which 70 stars you can get the fastest is part of the strategy. That's a cool thing you can play around with. It's very confusing if you just jump in and don't know the game very well, but if you do know the game and you've collected the stars before, that's a really fascinating experience to see which stars they think they can get faster using which glitches and which skillful play techniques. So when it comes to speedrunning, there's the 120 star runs, then there's the 70 star runs, then when we get to the shorter categories, we have the 16 star speedrun. And that's the category I've decided to try to train for. It's the category I'm going to try to explain in some detail here today. First, let me explain how the 16-star speedrun actually works and how you can beat a game that is supposed to require 70 stars with only 16 stars. The beginning of a 16-star speedrun, for beginners at least, is going to be relatively normal, where you're trying to collect 8 stars as fast as possible, because 8 stars is how many stars is required to fight the first Bowser that's available to you in the lobby, Bowser in the Dark World. So generally speaking, you're going to see someone try to collect 8 stars as fast as possible, selecting them between the levels that are available to you at the beginning of the game. Then they're going to go fight Bowser, and then once you defeat Bowser, he's going to give you a key that lets you go downstairs. Once you go downstairs, there's another Bowser door that requires you to get 30 stars to pass it. However, there are some glitches available to you in the basement once you've opened that door. Then once you've gotten 15 stars total, they allow you to glitch through that door that requires 30 stars with only 15 stars. Now, this Bowser door is weird because this Bowser door has another level inside of it, and for the first time you enter that level, you can't get into the Bowser door regularly until you get the first star of that world. And I'm going to show you videos to explain this later on, so just put a pin in this, but essentially you have to get 1 star in that special level before you're able to get to the second Bowser, even though you're past the second Bowser door, which is why this is a 16-star run, because you have the 15 stars to get in there, you have to get the 16th star to be able to fight the second Bowser, then you can jump in and fight the second Bowser, who once you defeat him gives you the key to the upstairs area of the castle, and from there you're able to do a couple more glitches to get straight to the third Bowser, but I'll explain it in detail. Let's start at the beginning of the 16-star speedrun. Now, if you actually watch the world record for the 16-star speedrun, it's done differently, because as with all things, when it comes to speedrunning, there are many different difficulties of what you can attempt and what you can try to do. The world record for the 16-star speedrun is sub 15 minutes, and it is a wild thing to watch, but it's also something that I would not even recommend that new speedrunners even attempt right away. There's so many more tricks that you should learn before you even try to attempt some of the crazy things that happen in the current world record 16-star speedrun. So I would recommend you do what I do, which is start with an easy strategy for a 16-star speedrun and build up your tool repertoire as we go. Sometimes you'll see speedrunners do a trick that you think you can pull off. You can practice that trick. Sometimes you'll see one and say, I'm not ready for that. That's sort of what it comes down to when you are first learning how to speedrun Super Mario 64. And one of the things that you're going to need to figure out is which are the first 8 stars you're going to go for, and then in the basement, what stars are you going to go for that bring you up to the number of 15, which you need to do the glitches to get to the end of the game. There are lots of different methods here. There are lots of different stars you could go for, and if you look up routes online, you'll find quite a few different variations on the 16-star speed route, even if you are a beginner. I'm going to explain to you the route that I'm currently trying to go on, and this is also a pretty common route, so it's not something I just made up myself. And it's also something that as I progress in skill at the game, if I can't get below that sub 20 mark, which is my goal as a speedrunner, I know I'm not world record material, but I am trying to personally make the goal of getting a sub 20-minute speedrun in Super Mario 64. This is the run I'm currently going with. I may change it up in the future as I learn more tips, but let's explain what I'm doing right now and what I think is a good thing to practice. Now, if you decide to pick up Super Mario 64 as a brand new player, you've never played the game before, but you want to get into it, which is a category of people. There are lots of people that have never played this game that are trying to pick it up to speedrun just because it seems that cool. There are videos just on the basic movement of Mario that you should check out. And if you've never played this game before, there are ways to get acquainted with the basic movement of Mario. I'm not going to explain the minute details of the way that he moves. Instead, I'm going to explain the way that levels are normally supposed to be beaten and how you're supposed to beat them if you're going to do the speedrun attempt. But I will say, if you're someone that's never played this game before, but this sounds really interesting to you and you'd like to pick it up, there are tons of videos explaining the basic movements of Mario for Super Mario 64, so you can start to pick that up as well and start speedrunning it even if you've never played the game normally. So when speedrunning Super Mario 64, the way that speedrunners time this game is they hit the timer as soon as they hit reset on the console. Different games have different rules for speedrunning, so you should always, if you're speedrunning, look up the rules for when the timer starts and stops. In this game, the timer starts as soon as you hit reset on the console, which means that you will have to navigate through the menu and watch the opening cutscene if you want to time yourself correctly for the speedrun. The speedrun ends when you pick up the final star after defeating the third Bowser. That's what your clock is going to spin. So, you hit reset on the console, you hit start to go, you select an empty file, and that begins your thing. There's a huge cutscene, and then you are Mario outside the castle. The first speedrunning tactic that you should attempt is called the Lakitu Skip. Normally what happens, and I sort of briefly alluded to it at the beginning of this video, is once you hit the bridge of the castle, Lakitu comes and he explains to you what's happening in the castle, but that takes time. What if you didn't have to do that? There is a way to long jump on the very edge of the bridge, and there's different strategies for doing so. But there are ways to long jump on the very edge of the bridge to where you can completely skip Lakitu's dialogue and go straight into the castle. That's the first trick you can attempt, and I recommend that everyone at least look this up and try to practice it a little bit, because it's something that you can attempt, and if you fail, well, Lakitu comes and he talks to you, but at least you tried. It's something you can try to do with each of your runs, and if you fail, you don't lose any time at all, except for the Lakitu talk time. It's something you can attempt without any punishment, that is. Some of the strategies that you can try to do for this game, you can attempt it, and if you fail, it will add a lot of time to your run. This is one of those things that adds 0 time if you fail, except just talking to Lakitu, which at the beginning I feel like a lot of runners are just going to talk to Lakitu, and that's fine. So that's speedrunning tip number 1. Once you've gone inside the castle, the first thing you're going to do is go into the Bob-Omb Battlefield level, which is the only level available to you at the very beginning. You're going to go straight into that level, and the first star that you're going to go for is the Chain Chomp star. Now, the normal way to get the star is to jump on the peg that holds the Chain Chomp 3 times with a butt bounce, or a ground pound, I think is what it's called. But you have to hit it 3 times, it will free the Chain Chomp, who bounces and busts the gate, which then allows you to grab the star. There is a glitch called the Bomb Clip that allows you to pick up a bomb, throw it, catch it while it's about to explode. It will push you fast into the bars, and when you throw the bomb, it will actually allow you to clip through the bars into the level, jump up, and grab the star. That's called Bomb Clip. I am still practicing this star. If I sit there and practice it over and over, I can get fairly consistent. But on actual runs, I have a very hard time hitting this one. However, attempting to do the Bomb Clip adds very little time to my run, so it's still something that I try to do every single run. You run and you pick up the bomb, you jump once, then you jump and throw the bomb at the same time, you try to move to catch it, and you have to wait, and this is the problem. You have to, one, move correctly, but then you have to try to catch the bomb. There's 4 frames that it has when it explodes, and on the 3rd and 4th frame, the bomb is fairly large, and it will push you quite quickly into the bars. You try to catch the bomb on the 3rd or 4th frame so that you can do Bomb Clip. If you fail, the alternative backup strategy for getting the star is to just get the stars normally. You try to dodge the Chain Chomp, you hit the pound on his peg, 3 times, and then he will get the star for you. That's my strategy for getting this star. Like I said, I'm not very consistent at Bomb Clip at this point, but it's something I still try every run. On the happenstance that I get it, it's not like I lose that much time if I fail. Once you've gotten that star in Bob-Omb Battlefield, the next place that I recommend you go for following this beginner route is Whomp's Fortress. We're going to be getting quite a few stars in Whomp's Fortress, so you're going to become fairly familiar with this area, as especially in your beginning practice runs, you're going to be spending a lot of time here. The first star that we're going to be collecting in Whomp's Fortress is called Cannonless. It's called Cannonless because normally this star is called something like Blast Away the Wall or Shoot Away the Wall. Normally what you have to do is you have to select the star, go and talk to a pink bomb who will open up a cannon, jump into the cannon, you'll fire the cannon into the corner of this wall, which is a mechanic not repeated anywhere else in Super Mario 64. The wall explodes, exposing the star for you to collect. However, all of those steps take time, and what if I told you you didn't have to do them? Cannonless, as its name implies, allows you to collect the star without ever having to touch a cannon, and it's done through a glitch. You see, the section where the wall explodes from the regular wall, there's actually a tiny seam. Some views of the game actually allow you to see the seam, but what happens is, if you hit that wall at the exact perfect place, Mario will try to ledge grab, and when he does that, he will automatically collect the star, even though the wall is still fully in place. Now, there are lots of super fast, super fancy strategies for figuring out how to get this star, but there's also a fairly reliable, easy strategy for being able to get Cannonless. What you have to do is walk across the plank near that piranha plant. Then you will jump, and you will slowly align Mario closer to the plank until the plank pushes him out. Once the plank pushes him out, he's in optimal position. You slowly walk down until Mario will ledge grab. Then you will jump up because you're in the right place. You will do a backflip onto the other plank, the bridge that's across. You will punch 1 time. When Mario punches, he slightly moves himself forward, and when you punch without interrupting the punch or moving any directions, he will align himself in theory to the perfect place he needs to be to do this trick. Once you've done the punch and allow the punch to complete, you will move slowly down until he ledge grabs again. Then you need to make sure the camera's in the correct position. You'll bounce the camera back and forth to make sure that the camera is perfect. You will press up as Mario will slowly pull himself up, and while he's pulling himself up, you will hold down so Mario will then pull himself up, run in a half circle, and go down. And if you did the trick correctly, he just picks up the star through the dang wall. It feels like freaking magic. The music cuts out, it's all weird, and you're like, what the frick did I just do? But also, you've just done a speedrunning trick that looks cool and feels cool. And that's canonless. The next trick that you're going to use to collect the next star in this level also allows you to skip something where you're supposed to normally use a cannon. You see, the 2 cannon stars that you're supposed to get in this one are the one I just showed you, and also you're supposed to be able to shoot yourself at a pole where you can climb down the pole and get a star. I'll show you in the video. But in all reality, you don't actually have to be that accurate, and you can just use some well-placed jumps and get the star without using a cannon. Technically speaking, you can jump up to this platform from both sides, but with a very little experience and practice that I've tried, I can basically never hit it from the front side, so I go to the back side where I can jump straight into the star every single time. But basically, yeah, you just do a side flip into a wall jump and you hit the star. That's how you get this one, and it also makes you feel like a baller speedrunner. The next 2 stars that I recommend you get in the speedrun route are both in this level still, and they also both sort of involve the same strategy, which is just getting to the top of the level as fast as possible. The first one is you gotta beat the big Thwomp boss, or Whomp boss? Whomp's Fortress? Now, when you watch my video, I'm sure that my movement is not completely optimized. I know it's not. It was essentially, you will jump into the tree, which allows you to jump up onto the gray area hill thing. You speed up the gray hill as fast as possible, then you jump into a wall jump off of that brick wall, which allows you to get to the island in the sky. Then you can jump from the island to the sky to the top, and you can fight Whomp. Honestly, this feels really cool, it's really fast, and it's not that hard to do once you practice your jumps and your long jumps, and once you get your wall jumps down. Something I want to emphasize that I had forgotten since I played this, I played this game so much my whole life, but I still forget this thing. Unlike the modern Mario games where wall jumping is just something you can do anytime your character is near a wall, in Super Mario 64, if you want to do a wall jump, you need to be pushing the stick in the direction of the wall when you jump. Mario will not do a wall jump otherwise, and it will make your life freaking suck when you are trying to do all these wall jump tricks, and Mario will not wall jump. Make sure you're sticking your stick out the wall when you jump, plus there's the timing involved. But it helps when you remember you have to stick the stick in the direction. It's just something that if you've been playing modern Mario games, you may not think about. Anyway, the trick for beating this Whomp Thwomp thing as fast as possible is when you are doing your ground pound, you can actually clip through the boss. So normally you stand in front of the boss, and then the boss decides he wants to smash you. Well, when he starts to smash you, you can jump and do your ground pound animation. You will go through him, and then you'll slam your butt on him, and it's awesome. You just do that 3 times in a row and you beat him. You could optimize the strategy by making him move less, and ultimately there's a way, if you're smart, I haven't figured it all out, to make it so when you kill the boss, the star is exactly inside of you. I think I have a clip of me doing that one time, but I definitely don't know how to consistently do it. Namely, I just try to get the boss to move as little as possible so I can defeat him as fast as possible. The next star, as I said, is also in this level. You're essentially going to get to the top of the level the exact same way that you just did, and then you have to do a couple tricks to get on top of the tower. You'll jump onto this platform, then you will have to do a wall jump, do some weird bending of physics, which can't happen in real life, but can happen in Mario, to get on this platform. Once this platform brings you up, you can do a side flip up to the top and get that star. It looks kind of complicated, and some of the side flip, jumpy stuff can be complicated, but it really isn't that hard of a one to learn, especially since it uses the same tip to get to the top of the tower as the last star that we just did. The final star that we're going to be getting in this level is something that can be avoided if you were a crazy pro strat player. You could do something called Owlless, where you get this star without an owl. That's not something I know how to do. It's not something I'm ready to attempt, so I'm just going to teach you the way to get the star that I do. You have to jump into the tree, climb up to the top so the owl will pop out of the tree, and this owl is going to bring you to the star. You jump out of the tree, you grab onto the owl, and you hold A, which is the jump button, and the owl will then fly you around, which you can control. You need to practice getting him to bring you over the basket, or you can do a ground pound right onto the star, or at least hopefully into the bucket, and you can nail the star pretty fast. Yes, it is technically faster if you can do it without using the owl, but it only saves you a couple seconds if you nail it perfect. If you don't, you lose a lot of time. I think for new people, it's just use the freaking owl. Now we've collected all the stars we want to collect in this area for this run, so we're going to go over to Cool Mountain to grab the last 2 stars we need before we go to the first Bowser. Try to optimize your movement so you don't waste too much time running around the lobby, but once you get to the Cool Mountain star, long jump twice to get inside the picture, and from here, the first star that we're going to be getting involves wall kicking. And like I said, remember when you're wall kicking, point your stick at the wall you're trying to jump off of. It will help you immensely for this level. At the beginning, I struggled so hard. I probably have clips of me failing a ton at this one. This is now one that once I get past the first part, I tend to hit pretty consistently. So the first thing you're going to want to do is aim your camera in this way so that you're running Mario directly towards yourself. You're going to try to double jump, and then once you get around the lip of that bottom level, you're going to try to do a kick right at the last second, which will cancel your fall damage if you do it right. But honestly, this also pushes you slightly backwards, and if you get on the ledge, it's worth taking the fall damage. From here, you're going to need to bounce your camera to Mario Cam and back, because otherwise the camera sometimes just doesn't update. You need to run to the end of this area, do a side flip, then run a little bit up the mountain and start a series of wall kicks that should bring you directly into the star, or at least directly onto the star platform. The movement inputs here are not that hard. You just need to be pushing diagonally towards the wall of whatever you're jumping towards. Do these 4 jumps and you should land in the star. Looks really cool if you nail it. It takes a little bit of practice to get the wall kicks down, but it's really not that hard of a star to get once you sort of practice. The next star to grab in Cool Mountain is we're going to give that whining little penguin to his mama. The optimal strat here is to do a triple jump with your 3rd jump off the house onto this area where the penguin is. Anyway, you're going to hit B to grab this penguin, and then you are going to jump off this area of the mountain. Now, there are different strategies of where you're supposed to jump exactly to get the maximum slide distance, but this actually isn't as complicated as it looks. You really just have to hit this part of the slide, which will bring you into this part of the slide, which then, if you steer it correctly, don't hit the wall and don't hit the other side where you might actually start flipping into the wind. Just try to hit it in the middle there, which takes a little bit of practice. But like I said, once you practice it a couple times, it's not that hard. Then you will either land on the ice and be okay with the penguin, or you will skip directly to the Mama Penguin if you've nailed the speed perfectly. Mama Penguin will give you a star, which you can then grab, and it's another speedrunning trick that's not that hard that makes you feel awesome. And now you have 8 stars and you are ready to fight the first Bowser in the Dark World. Do a quick jump kick up to the 2nd level, then do a side flip up to Bowser, and jump in to find out a level that I kind of suck at and I'm not super consistent at yet, but I'm trying. Trying to find a super consistent Bowser in the Dark World strategy that doesn't collect the red coins, which adds a lot of difficulty in my opinion, can be difficult because people are doing all kinds of crazy jump flips that I just don't know how to do as a new speedrunning player. So I will show you like what my sort of runs look like. Hopefully I can find at least a half decent one of trying to get through the level fairly quickly. Most of the speedruns that you see will be collecting the red coins in this level, which technically is a fast way to get an extra star. But like I said, it adds a lot of difficulty and it just looks rough. But yeah, here's some of the attempts that I have at beating Bowser in the Dark World fairly quickly. I don't feel super qualified to give a ton of advice for this one, but I feel like you're going to have to develop your own strat or maybe just learn the pro strat of collecting the red coins as well. So if you've never played Super Mario 64 before, the way that the bosses work in this one is you grab Bowser by the tail, you spin him around in circles, and you throw him at spiky bombs. I'm not sure exactly what prompted Nintendo to make the game this way, but it's kind of hilarious, and you do get to throw Bowser by his tail at spiky bombs that blow up. Bowser generally tries to run you over, or jump and pound you, or breathe fire on you. He does different things on different levels, but your strategy is always the same. Run around him as fast as you can, grab Bowser by the tail, and throw him at a bomb, which is what we're going to do here and in all of the Bowser levels moving forward. Enough said. I wish I could tell you there was some kind of trick to doing this awesome and accurately all the time, but it really does just take practice. You're going to spin the stick around until Bowser's moving the appropriate speed for the throw you need to pull off, and then you're just going to have to practice your accuracy. There's no real crazy tricks to it. It really is just a practice thing. It's fun, though. It's fun to freaking grab Bowser by the tail and fling him face first into a bomb. It's so fun. Good news! Once you beat Bowser in the Dark World, you get the key that lets you go into the basement where you can do some really cool stars. Once you've entered the basement, the first stars that we're going to be going for are in Shifting Sandland. If you're not familiar with the layout of the basement, this is the way that you get to Shifting Sandland. It's the desert level. Now we're going to be getting 2 stars from Shifting Sandland, and there are pro strats for ways to get this one. One of them I can do, and one of them I can't do, and I mostly use as a backup strat if I fail the other one that I think I can do. You see, the first star that we're going to be going for here is trying to get the star that's in the claws of that bird that's flying around the level. The way to do that is to jump over this hill that's at the beginning of the level as quickly as possible, doing a combination of Mario dives and then jump out of the dives and long jumps to try to get to this pillar without being seen by the Shy Guy as fast as possible to get on top of the pillar, where we will do a long jump to land on the Shy Guy, hopefully, which will allow you to do the helicopter jump off of the Shy Guy, punch the bird's feet. The star will go fly over to where the bird normally drops the star, in which case you have to run and do a long jump and you can get over there. The problem is it's a little bit difficult to nail, but this is one that feels so good. I actually love practicing this one because when you nail it, it feels cool. I used to try to triple jump over that little hill, but I've had a lot more luck lately with just doing a long jump over the hill. You get sliding pretty quickly, and all that needs to happen is you need to get there fast enough to get to the Shy Guy without him seeing you, because if you go up on the wrong side of the pole, he will see you earlier, and he will probably be in the wrong place for you to do the trick. You need to not have him not see you until you get to the top, which will allow you to bounce off of him. Hopefully you've done it all fast enough so you can hit the bird before he's too far out of the way. He flies on a cycle. But if you do all that correctly, you should be able to slide down the opposite side of the pyramid and get that star, and that one feels incredible. The normal way to get that star is to just stand on top of the pillar and wait on the bird to come, and you can jump and kick it out of his hands. Honestly, that's something that I've had to do as a backup strat on a lot of my runs. The other star that you're supposed to get here is the one that's in the pyramid. It's not that hard to get, but the way that most people suggest you get it is by triple jumping and then diving off of this huge hill at the beginning. And I just can't consistently nail that trick. I've tried it quite a few times and I find it very difficult. So the way that I found around it is if I fail the bird star the first time, if you are on this pillar, you can long jump from this pillar over to that side of the pyramid where you can do a pretty easy triple jump dive and get to that star. That's when I go to, even if I start this level a second time and I got the bird the first time, I'll just go to this pillar first, long jump over there because I found it more consistent. I'm losing a decent amount of time on that one. That's something I should probably practice and fix, but that's just what I'm doing for now. I just am telling you it's not the right answer. But once you've collected those 2 stars, you are then done with Shifting Sandland. Now, along this route, the next easy star for you to grab is on Lethal Lava Land while traveling over to Hazy Maze Cave. That is the big fire picture that you passed on the way here. You jump into that picture, and this one is like one of the easiest stars to get in the game, and it's kind of one of the silliest stars to get in the game. You see, it basically just involves you long jumping directly into the lava to burn Mario's butt, where you will bounce over to this bridge area. You can then long jump from the bridge area onto the platform where all 8 of the red coins are bouncing around on this Bowser puzzle. And if you hit the timing right, you can just keep diving and turning and grabbing the red coins and get them all in one go. It's really not that hard. It's a very fast star. It's just, this is the weirdest red coin star in the game. Even if you fail and you fall into the lava, the odds of you dying are extremely low, as you can just bounce back onto the platform and pick up one of the red coins to restore some of your health. The first star that we're going to hit in this area is one that is not difficult, but I can't seem to nail first time very well, ever, no matter how hard I try. You're going to long jump down the left side of this area, and you are going to either do a triple jump, which is the correct way to do it. I think you can actually just do it if a single jump, if you're good, but a triple jump will get you high enough to do it pretty easily, where you wall jump off of this wall, land up on the platform by holding backwards, which then lets you long jump over to the area with the star. Normally you're supposed to do this whole monkey bar thing, but obviously Mario does monkey bars very slow and he jumps very fast, so that allows you to get that star very quickly. Usually I always fail this the first time, which involves me having to kill that spider. Then once I kill the spider, I have safety to try to do the trick in peace. And then I generally fail and have to ledge grab, or sometimes I miss. Most of the times I don't miss. But then you grab this star. Once you have 12 stars, you'll see that toad over there. He's actually hiding a secret castle star that he's only willing to give you once you've gotten 12 stars. So you want to go and collect his castle star. If you forget to collect it, that's okay. The only thing is you don't want this star to be the 15th star that you get, because something that you need to happen later, which is a bunny rabbit magically appearing in the castle, don't ask questions. It won't happen if he's your 15th star from Toad. So make sure that you get this star before star number 15, and yeah, this will count towards your 16 star limit. Jump back into Hazy Maze Cave, and we'll go for another one. The next star we're grabbing over here in Hazy Maze Cave is a pretty easy one. You're going to do the same thing you did with the first one, which is long jump down that left side, go through the door, and you see those platforms over there? Speedrunners don't need those platforms, but people like me who are beginner speedrunners like the safety of those platforms. Long jump over to the first one, long jump from the first one to the second one where you can either ledge grab or hop up real quick, or maybe you can just nail the jump. I don't know, I usually can't. Then you can do long jumps to quickly get up to this area, and there is a secret star hidden up on this area if you just wall jump correctly. Wall jump correctly, I said, which is something I say but can't do. It's hidden right up there, and you can get the star very fast if you time it correctly. I may have footage where I did it right, but it's definitely not my norm. But yeah, here, you're almost done with Hazy Maze Cave once you get this star. And actually, you're almost done with stars completely. Now, I feel like with most of the stars that we've gotten this run, I've explained the regular way that you get this star. For this one, it's going to be a little bit weird because it just involves clipping through a huge part of the level, but here's what you do. Like we have done for the rest of the stars in this run, long jump down the left side of this hallway until you get through the door. Then you're going to follow the pathway past the spider and go into this door here. You will then step on this elevator. You'll jump down below the elevator before it gets down there. And I found that the best way to do this is to run into the wall so you don't take fall damage and you recover quickly. So run into the wall. Mario goes like, ugh, bounces off of it. You will land below the elevator, and then you're just going to start pushing on the wall as Mario. You're going to want to push on the right side, but like also in the middle. I feel like I have lots of footage of me doing it. I nailed this first time, and this was not a brag. I'm just saying it's that easy. But you're going to be making sure that you are leaning towards the right. That way you do this correctly. The elevator, instead of squishing you and killing you like it probably should, it pushes you through the floor into the area below you, which is where the giant Loch Ness monster is, and there also just happens to be an island in the middle with a floating star, and if you do it correctly, you will fly down and land directly on the star, getting it. If you beef this up, the backup strat is, of course, to swim up to the dinosaur, get on its back, do a ground pound to make it lower its head. You can then stand on the dinosaur's head, and whichever way you face Mario, the dinosaur will swim that direction. Just face him towards the middle platform where you can then jump on and pick up that star. But if you do it correctly, you should be able to grab it off of that dive. This is another one that's really cool because you clip through the level and it's super fast. It feels cool and it looks cool. It takes maybe a little bit of practice, but like I said, I actually got this one first time, weirdly enough. So I don't think it's actually that hard of a trick to pull off compared to some of the other ones that we've done. At this point, you should have 15 stars, and that's enough for the magical bunny to spawn in the castle. His name is Mips, and he's a little yellow bunny that bounces around and he holds a star. We don't care about his star. What we care about is his magical ability to let Mario teleport through doors he's not supposed to teleport through. So the first goal is to catch Mips, and this is something that comes fairly easily when you practice, but it can be easy to mess up. Essentially, you're going to be doing jump dives is the easiest way and fastest way to get Mips to do what you wanted to do. Because if you are sliding as Mario on any surface and Mips jumps into your arm, while you're sliding, it counts as catching him. So the easiest fail-safe way to catch him is to, if you push him all the way to this hallway, jump about here and you will always catch Mips every time. But also it's possible to catch him earlier. Right now on my strats, I'm not super consistent. A lot of times I do catch him earlier, but this is my fail-safe. If I can't catch him before then, I will catch him here. The real time sink, though, is getting this next trick to work correctly. I know how to do the trick. I'm not the best at doing the trick, which is why my runs are still plus 20. This is a place where I lose a lot of time, but I'll explain how the trick works. Essentially, when you are holding items and you are close to doors, you can do weird clippy things. That's why Bob-Omb Clip works earlier. This one, it doesn't involve speed at all, though. You will pick up Mips and you will go to this door. Normally you cannot carry Mips out this door, but with this trick you should be able to do this, and this works because the level behind the door is still loaded in. So you will walk slowly towards the door, and if you watch closely, Mips' shadow on the floor will disappear at one point as you approach the right side of the wall. If you then try to sit Mips down at this point, something weird happens. Mario glitches through the door and he's halfway inside the door while Mips is on the outside. If you crouch and crawl slowly towards Mips, you can then pick him up so that you are inside the door and Mips is in your arms. This can take a lot of practice. Getting inside the door halfway, I found to be like super easy, but leaving Mips in a way where he's actually grabbable from inside the door can be difficult. If you try to pick him up and it doesn't work, you can try to crawl and pick him up again, but the odds are it probably won't work. It might be better to just exit the door, try to leave Mips in a closer area to the door. It's really finicky and I haven't figured it out perfectly yet. Essentially though, once you have Mips in your arm and you are both clipped through the door, you have to do something that, especially if this trick has taken you a long time, it feels super counterintuitive and it may hurt you to do, but you actually want to jump and press down as if you were going to come back outside the door. It feels so wrong because it sometimes takes a very long time to set up this clip, but you want to jump towards the door. What will actually happen is Mario will hit his head on the frame, I think, and bounce backwards. Once that's happened, you are through the door with Mips in your arm and you are free to go. You will then hop along the bunny trail through this hallway back towards that 30-star door. Note you only have 15 stars at this point. Note that when you are holding Mips, you move faster while jumping. You're going to want to do a double jump over this ledge here, which will then get you up to the area where the star door is. You will essentially do the same trick. You push Mips into the door. When his shadow disappears, you set him down, and you will be glitched through on the other side of the door. Now, if you move fast enough out of the way, you will not get the cutscene that spams your text saying that you're not supposed to be able to go through the door, even though you're already past it. That's only a little bit of time lost, especially if you're a beginner. That's fine. Once you're on the other side of the door, you're free going. Now, note there is a big, giant, blue, wavy wall in front of the hole that you need to get to fight Bowser. That's a level. And this is where the 16th star comes in. You have to get the star inside of this level before it allows you to go inside of Bowser's actual level. So jump into the blue wall and you will be in Dire Docks. Here's a video of me doing it. This is a level that involves swimming. And if you're playing on the actual Nintendo 64, it involves a lot more strategy. If you're playing on a modern way to play this, whether it's for a virtual console or through some other way of playing Super Mario 64, that I don't know how else you would be able to do it, but if you ever found a way to play Super Mario 64 that was not on the N64 or a virtual console, you don't have to worry about this. On the actual N64, you have to worry about the fact that inside this level, Bowser has a submarine, and the submarine is so big that it takes up too much RAM, and it will cause the game to lag massively. So there's actually strats in playing this game with a Nintendo 64 that involve you trying to keep the sub out of your view as long as possible, because once you start seeing it, it will slow your game down like crazy, costing you time, which I think is hilarious. But if you're playing this on other versions of the game, here's what you're going to do. You're going to swim down here as fast as possible. Note, swimming in this game is something that you can just spam the A button, but that will not get you the optimal sim speed. You need to press it with timed intentional presses. Something that I've heard that I try to remember in my brain is a lot of people say that it's approximately the beat of the Staying Alive, that part of the Staying Alive song. If you press the A button approximately to that rhythm, then you should do the maximum swim speed, and you're going to swim to, at least in my strategy, the back of the submarine here. You will do a side flip. You will jump immediately after into a jump dive, which should get you into the flat part of the submarine, which allows you to grab that star. That's the only star you need to do in Dire Docks, and you should then be able to enter Bowser in the Fire Sea, which is another level that I have not optimized at all, but you should watch a professional play Bowser in the Fire Sea. They've got some pretty sweet strats, both collecting the red coins and not collecting the red coins. A lot of people don't have to collect the red coins on this one for speedruns, but I'm not good at this level. This is a place where I lose a lot of my time, and I need to work on it personally. I'll have some footage of me playing it here, but obviously I don't know the optimal strats for getting through this level. I can beat the boss generally in one throw every single time. I don't have a problem beating Bowser, but I do have a problem getting through this level. That's just something you're going to have to work through. There's no special tips or tricks because you just got to pretty much play it through the hard way. But good news! Once you defeat this Bowser, you are now prepared to beat the rest of the game. You see, this is a 16-star completion. You have 16 stars and you now have the key to the upstairs. Here you go. Now, funny note, to get out of this door, you actually need to jump back into the Bowser level, pause it and then select exit course, because even though you're inside the door, you still need 30 stars to pass through the door, so you can't exit normally. But hitting exit course here will bring you to the lobby of the castle, which allows you to go upstairs and use that brand new key you just got. Now, professional speedrunners at this part know how to jump through the floor and somehow like go through this door without having to go through the spiral staircase. Jumping through the floor is easy to replicate. I haven't figured out the actual button combinations to get through this door. I'm sure that if I just looked it up, it was super easy. Anyway, you're going to have to go up this spiral staircase, whether through the glitch or through the actual stairs. You will then turn the corner to this staircase, and this is where you get to use the trick that makes Super Mario speedruns what they are. Every category will at some point, well, I think some categories ban this, but every fast category and every single trick with beating this game super quickly is going to involve the use of the backwards long jump. A trick that is fairly easy in concept, but can be difficult and inconsistent to master. The backwards long jump essentially allows you to, if you are on a slope, backwards long jump in a way where your momentum is sort of saved and then expelled all at once. So what you're going to do is line up the camera, hit down C, so that the camera is farther away from you. Try to line yourself centered so that Mario is centered against the door. Note that that door that's at the top of the stairs requires you to have 50 stars to get through, and you only have 16. So what do we do about it? We do the backwards long jump trip. You are going to run down the stairs. You're going to do a long jump, which involves you hitting the Z trigger and then hitting A. Then you are going to press backwards, which in this case should be pointing up the stairs. So you'll be running towards yourself. You will hold the trigger the whole time, and then you will spam the A button as fast as you possibly can to try to make Mario store up these insane glitchy backwards long jumps. So while holding this trigger, you keep spamming A, and it just involves practice. Hold that trigger, spam that A button while pushing backwards. If he fails out of it, start again. I get sometimes very frustrated with this trick because sometimes I just have to spam the button and I don't think I'm spamming it fast enough. Technically, I think maybe I can sometimes spam it too fast. I don't know, because sometimes I feel like I'm hitting it faster and the trick doesn't happen as when I hit it slower. It's very inconsistent for me. Anyway, if it works, it'll freaking throw you through this door once you fly up the stairs. And then you're past a door that costs you 50 stars and you didn't have to get to 50 stars. Then you go up this staircase and you hit this door. This is the final door of the game, which, as I mentioned before, to legitimately get through this door, you have to have 70 stars. This is how you officially complete the game the normal way. However, unlike the other star doors, this one will let you past. Now, when you get past this door, you will see a staircase, and the music that's playing in this room is kind of ominous, and it's one of those like weird loops that doesn't feel like a loop, but it's actually looping. I don't know if you've heard that like audio, like mind freak before. But the thing is that if you try to walk up this staircase normally, it's endless and it goes forever, which I guess is what endless means. You can't go up this staircase. It will actually loop in such a way that you may or may not be able to see seamlessly, depending on how much you're paying attention. But you try to walk up the stairs, it will not let you walk up these stairs. As you might expect, though, a backwards long jump will allow you to bypass the repeating loop of the stairs so fast that you can actually fly all the way to the top. And if you look down the stairs, you realize they're actually not that far. If you had collected all 70 stars, this staircase would just be a regular staircase, and it would be just as long as it looks when you peek down. But the backwards long jump will allow you to skip through this cool little trick in the game, and then you can jump into the hole to fight the final Bowser in the sky, which unfortunately, this is another place where my speedrun needs a lot of work. I have not refined my way through this level, but getting through this level will bring you to the final Bowser. The final Bowser requires 3 throws to kill, unlike the other two. And I feel like I'm okay at Bowser throws. I don't know the tricks where people can grab Bowser faster out of the air, but essentially you'll swing Bowser around in a circle, you throw him at the bombs, and you have to do it 3 times this time instead of 1. The level will shrink as you go, eventually becoming the size of a star. And when you've hit Bowser on that 3rd bomb, he gives you a star. As soon as you hit that star, hit the button that stops your timer, and that is your time for the speed run. And that's how you do the 16-star basic speed run of Super Mario 64 with the easiest route that I know how to teach you. It may sound like a lot, but honestly, this is the easiest way that I found to do it, and I don't think that any of these tricks are super difficult. The hard part, as I've sort of expressed, is getting through those Bowser levels in an optimal way, which is something I'm still practicing. And if you want to speedrun, you should practice with me. Trying to combine all of these tricks into one single run is the key to getting an awesome time, and hopefully a time, at least for me, that is below 20 minutes. If you thought this video was fun or exciting, please remember to hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more of my journey speedrunning Super Mario 64, please subscribe to the channel. You can also check out the podcast we do every week where we talk about video games and the games that we're playing, some of the video game news. It's the Press X to Revolution podcast. You can also check it out on audio version on every podcast streaming platform. But like I said, please remember to subscribe. Tell your friends about the channel if you like it. And if you want to join me on this speedrunning journey, either as an observer or a participant, you want to try speedrunning Super Mario 64 for yourself, please let me know if this video was useful for you. Also, make sure you check out the link down below in the description for our Discord. We have a Discord where we love talking about video games of all shapes and sizes. The Discord is free for everybody to join, and it is an awesome community that only will get better if you yourself join. That is true. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again. Until next time, I love you.